What makes a good character? That question is what anyone who makes or aspires to make stories asks. This is a question one must ask as a dungeon master. If you've played or run any game of Dungeons & Dragons, you most likely have met or made an NPC. Now, whether or not that was a good NPC or not is debatable. Maybe you or your players found them boring or too similar to each other. Well, I'm here to help with that. Now, you must be made aware that writing characters for movies, shows, and books can be very different from making characters for video games, or tabletop role-playing games, as one is about stories and characters that are out of your control, while the other is especially about player control. NPCs are who we will be really talking about, but what we'll be discussing could be used for main player characters as well. Think back to a character you really liked in a story. What made you like that character? Was it that they were really funny and managed to make you laugh? Was it because they had an interesting power set? Was it because they were once the underdog and now are at the top? What really makes a character great are only two things. One, they're likable, and two, they're real. Well, at least feel real. Now, a major problem with creating characters is getting ideas for one. Not all of us can easily think up of ideas for interesting people. Here are a few ways to generate some ideas. One of the easiest ways to figure out an idea for a character is simply purpose. What is their purpose in the story, and what part do you want them to play? Essentially, what type of character do you think would fit best for the situation you want to play out? It might sound artificial, but a character is useless if they don't add anything to your game or story. That doesn't mean their purpose has to be big. They simply can be a character that is designed for the players to like as they're passing by a village, or a character for a simple, fun, harmless side quest. What most writers do when coming up with ideas, or at least what they say they get most of their ideas from, are from life and fiction. If you are trying to create a character, you most likely know of or are inspired by other fictional characters. Even the greatest writers use this method for getting ideas. People draw from both the media they take in and the things around them. Is there a person in your life you think can make an interesting character? Is there a type of character you wish was more common in stories? Know that it's perfectly fine to base a character on another fictional character or person. Now, before we go deeper into making a character, we need to establish the difference between minor characters and major characters. Minor characters are the people in stories and in your life you see when you stop for gas. Or are the people at your job or school you've only talked a few select times, even if you usually see them around. You see them and you know of them, though, unlike real life, these people don't have to be boring. And maybe your minor characters can become major ones simply because on a surface level they're interesting. A major character being a character that feels real. The major characters in stories are those who have backstories, relationships, and flaws that can fill more than one page. These characters can change and can be understood as a psychological level, while also being likable as much or more than minor characters. For minor characters, the only thing you have to do for them is to do one of the two things that make a good character. Make them likable. Now, when I say likable, I don't mean the main characters have to like them, but that the players or audience does. The Joker is likable, but not in the traditional sense. He isn't liked by most people within his stories. Being likable means on the surface level they appear to be appealing. There could be a few ways you could go with this. 1. Save the cat. If you write at all or read up on writing, you most likely know about Save the Cat. Essentially, it's having a character do something that is considered good-hearted to most people. Like saving a cat, saving a child, saving someone from a burning building, or helping an old woman cross the street. It is something that works well for quickly establishing that a character is caring, good, or at least appears to be, which is a trait most people find admirable. 2. Make them cool. Cool, of course, is subjective, as are a lot of things. But what do you think of cool in most stories? It typically is a person who mows down a ton of enemies without difficulty, has an interesting set of abilities, or does something incredibly impressive with little to no change in their composure. These are your cool guys, don't look at explosions. So give these guys an impressive power set, or have them easily kill off a bunch of goons. 3. Give them a unique quirk. Quirk essentially means a character having a unique personality trait, or something visual on their person that no one else has. Like Harry's scar from Harry Potter, or Komi's social anxiety disorder from Komi Can't Communicate. These character quirks make them especially unique and interesting, which can be seen on a surface level. When thinking about character quirks, think about what would make this character appear unique on their first appearance. When thinking about character quirks, think about what would make this character appear unique on their first appearance. Maybe they're mute, have a scarf in the middle of summer, don't like any physical contact, or appear happy no matter the situation. Now, what makes a major character is that they are not only likable, but that they also feel real. Now, what makes a character real? In most stories, and even in real life, there is the internal and external parts of a person. External parts of a person are what others and the person themselves see. What you need in order to make a real person is the character to have a want and a thing that is preventing that want. Everyone has a want, a goal that they want to achieve in their life that they believe will bring them satisfaction or fulfillment. Even the most unambitious people have some sort of goal. You can choose to have a character not know why they want to accomplish their goal, as long as you know the reason yourself and you can tell that to the audience. A goal makes a character proactive instead of reactive, and a goal gives you more material to work with. Now, what is preventing your character from accomplishing their goal? There needs to be opposition to a character's goal, or else there isn't a story. Now, depending on the scenario a character is in, this could be enemies, time, resources, or anything else external that is preventing their goal. The internal parts of a person are what are hidden, unlike external. The person themselves usually do not know about themselves internally. We require a need for them and what is preventing them from getting what they need. Need is essentially an internal goal. It is what the character actually needs in order to be fulfilled or grow as a person. Usually the character doesn't know what they need, and that is why they try to accomplish their goal above their need. Now, what is stopping your character from your need? Usually it is a character's flaws that prevent them from realizing or attempting to deal with their need. Or it could be outside influences that are preventing them from seeing it as well. For most well thought out characters, there is external conflict and internal conflict. All of this is what makes a character feel real. Now that we went through with how to make a character, let's try making one minor character and one major character using these methods. Since the title is how to make a character in D&D, let's make characters that fit a fantasy setting. Now let's start off with a minor character. First, let's get an idea for a character. Looking at purpose, this character's purpose is to be a server at an inn that the players are staying at. Next, let's make them likable by giving them a quirk. Let's have the server use magic to serve and put on a performance at the same time. They usually use mage hands instead of their actual hands, and may have a little character illusion dance on the table for children. For the final touches, give them a gender, let's say female, a name, Andrea, and a basic description of how they look. Black short hair with deep brown eyes, and human. Now for a major character. Purpose, let's make this character be one that the players might want to befriend, so in return, they can ask them for favors. For likability, let's make them cool. Let's have this character have a unique fighting style. They essentially don't attack head-on, but instead have something that makes them able to teleport. They use their teleportation to grab items and weapons to make enemies defenseless while also being hard to hit. This person can offer their services and maybe can steal for the players or do recon. Now to make them real. Starting with external, this character's goal is to steal valuable treasure. Now as to the reason why, is that they grew up poor and used their abilities to steal for their also poor family and friends. Now what is preventing them from their goal is the law, as people would obviously be upset that their things keep disappearing. Now for the internal part of the character. Their need is that they need to think bigger and realize they could do more than just steal. Their abilities could be a great help for much greater problems. Now what is preventing them from getting what they need? Their flaw, which is that they hate the rich and those in power, putting all the bad in the world on them, making them blind to others' problems. The final touches are gender, name, relationships, as it seems to be a vital part of the character, and a physical description. With that, we're done, for the most part. Now, I can't see this as the best character in the world, as even at this point, you can always be adding to a character and making them more developed. With this though, you have a great foundation, and can implement this character in a game or story. Well, that's it for now. I hope this video was at least somewhat helpful in helping you make a character. I've been Kevin, and see you later.